Social media, something truly great for this generation. A place where anyone can create and share anything, anywhere, anytime. It's pretty convenient for society, as we creatures constantly desire interaction and something to stimulate our brain. So you'd think that social media would be a perfect mold for our brains. But no, it actually isn't.
So, you ever sit at a desk 4 hours into an efficient work session and realize you've written like 3 paragraphs and you've watched like 20 videos on ARGs? Yeah, me too. It's not that I'm on my phone all day, like I'm not, but computers, social media, yeah, my sweet cursed rectangle of procrastination. So here's the dilemma. I'm doing work, real work, papers, emails, online research about the psychology of memes, just like everything, throw it against a wall, whatever Freddy Spaghetti sticks. Yeah. But am I doing it well? Maybe. So that's where efficiency question kicks in. Long sessions in front of a screen oftentimes feel productive, but in hindsight, sometimes it's more of like a mental treadmill, a lot of movement and very little distance travel. And all this digital screen time has like lots of physical trade-offs. My eyes are screaming, my posture looks like a croissant, and my attention span, what were we just talking about? We've transitioned into a very much so digital environment for work, for school, that we're sort of melting. But what are we exactly trading away? Like time we could be spent moving, resting, I don't know, cooking? But there's like a cost here, a literal opportunity cost. Now, who's responsible for social media addiction? Whose job is it to fix this mess? Individuals hold the most responsibility. You are in charge of your own lives. Newsflash. Even if social media has been declared as a public health risk, like smoking or sugar, it's still the same individual who has to choose to quit or cut back. We can blame companies, which is kind of valid, and demand regulations. At the end of the day, we all clipped except cookies without reading and just let the algorithm do whatever they want to you. And let's be honest, even if the government bans Instagram, we're gonna go like Reddit, make Reddit into a video sharing platform. So it's like a delicate form of a balancing act. I feel like people should have the most amount of responsibility over their own actions, over their own lives, and what they want to do with it. Last but not least, what's the difference between addiction, dependency, and I just like scrolling? And defining the line between frequent use and dependency and addiction is trickier than deciding what counts as productive. So here's kind of a framework that I've developed. Frequent use, high time spent, but with control. It's not like the gambler who says, I can quit whenever I want. It's not like that. It's a genuine, I can quit when I want. And dependency, I don't need it, but I get twitchy when I don't check it every 20 minutes. That's how you can tell you are dependent on social media in order to be productive. And addiction, you just use it despite all negative consequences, even if it like halves your productivity, whatever, and you basically can't stop. But the thing is, it's not the same for everyone. Some people can scroll for hours and still get their work done, go outside, drink water, stretch. Others, just doom scroll until they forget what day it is. And that's kind of the big issue here. There's no standard for everyone, which ties into the previous one. So any external form of governance doesn't exactly work because individuals vary a lot. Just like, look at the school, look at the diversity at our school. It's impossible to create a one-size-fits-all. And for some of the physiological differences, this ties into like neuropsychology and behavioral neuroscience.
So what is dopamine? It's pretty much a thing your brain sends you for pleasure and reward whenever you do an action that makes it happen. Examples being playing video games, playing a sport, feeling sunlight, What social media does is it just blows it out of proportions, as scrolling reels for 10 hours is probably gonna be mucho too many for your brain to handle. And then it's gonna be like, oh no, this too many, and I need to hide the difficulty now. So then after that, it'll probably take a lot more for you to reach that same level you felt the first time. And if you have a lower baseline to reach that dopamine, it's gonna overall lower your motivation and your ability to do certain things like homework and school. And speaking about having a low baseline to feel dopamine, let's talk about ADHD. So what is ADHD? It's the attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which pretty much just means it makes it really hard for you to focus and you're very hyperactive. So if you have ADHD, you're probably going to also have a harder time to feel the same feeling of dopamine as the average guy. In case of ADHD would be like you're writing an essay or something it's about to be due in a couple days, and look at the window, butterfly, and you end up getting distracted from your task to go look at a butterfly for like 3 hours, and all that time's lost. So what can we do to mitigate this? We can try doing other exercises that induce dopamine, like what I said earlier of feeling sunlight or doing sports, or just like going outside in general. Because any time away from your screen is time well spent.
So, for today, we're going to be talking about brain rot, dire wolves, and why we're still sending chain messages in 2025. So, hello everyone, today we're going to be diving into the dark, chaotic, and manipulative world of social media trends. Do you guys all remember the USC Ice Bucket Challenge, or the Side Profile Nominate 6 Challenge, or like the Post This, or you'll have 7 years of bad grades meme? These trends are basically emotional manipulation with glitter and likes. And humans are extraordinarily emotional creatures. Like, we see cure cancer by dumping ice water on your grandma, and we're like, hell yeah, sign me the hell up. As you can tell, that's a little exaggerated, but like looking at a more moderate scale, you have chain emails, the blueprint, the GOAT, the original. It was usually goes like, send this to 10 friends, or you'll get 7 years of bad luck genre. And then psychologically, what the effects of it is that it triggers FOMO, the fear of missing out, guilt, obligation, and like, let's be real here, just straight up superstition. And there's also other factors that play into this, such as credibility and the information gap, because social media usually come up with vibes and not facts. It's like, hey, I like this, and you don't really know if it's true. You just send it to your friends, and it's like, ha 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 ha. So usually if the post uses 3 exclamation points and a bold font, it's probably credible. If it has a blurry graph and the word study, scientifically proven. And psychologically, it's called the information gap theory. When you almost know something, but your brain gets itchy until you found out. Scientists brought back the dynamo. Oh my goodness. This thing pisses me off so badly. Like, it was all over the news, it was all over social media, everywhere, everything, all at once. So let's talk about it. So we have 2 exhibits here. First is the headline, "The Dire Wolf is Back." And the second exhibit, "Experts Dispute the Colossal." It's the same wolf, same 2 wolves as like Romulus and Remus, which, fun fact, they were named after the founders of Rome. People like have very different thoughts when it comes to these. Usually things that grab more eyeballs can just spread more easily, while something that's more doubtful also may gain traction, but if it's not as catchy, no. And meanwhile, in the corner, there's like people like me who take biology, or like at least are interested in biology. It's like, bruh, that's just a glorified husky. So this is a classical case of headline cherry picking, survivorship bias, and people being delusional. And it's just people just continuously changing things until it actually catches eyeballs. Because what really happened was that they used CRISPR-Cas9 technology in order to use DNA extracted from the exhumed skeletons of actual direwolves, and they edited the DNA into like gray wolves. They aren't actually dire wolves. They're just genetically modified gray wolves. They're nothing different from what we have now, except they possess some few more traits that are similar to dire wolves. That's like saying wagyu steak is wagyu steak, but it's not really. Because what wagyu steak Let's talk about survivorship bias and the LinkedIn plague. Every scroll, you just look at everyone is like a founder, a vice president of like some random AI startup. That's just survivorship bias. We only get to see the success stories. We don't get to see the failures or the work that went behind it. And you're just like, oh man, I wish I were them. But like, nobody reposts like, I got rejected from 17 minimum wage jobs and I was crying in the McDonald's parking lot today. Nobody posts that. So you end up thinking that you're the only one struggling. But like, we're all in the parking lot together.
We asked 36 people to respond to our survey based on a series of questions that relate to memes, and we asked them to identify the memes. Overall, what we got in results is that most people scored 7 out of 11 points. Most people who responded to our questions were between the ages of 13 to 18. And we only got 2 responses from people who were 12 and under, and 2 responses from people who are 18 and over. Most people scored above 4 points. Overall, this tells us just how much of an effect social media has on us, as most people were able to correctly identify the memes we showed them that were relatively new based on the time we sent them these memes.
The algorithm is like, oh, you liked one post about direwolves? Here are 47 more and a direwolf meme coin. Like, no, that's not what I want. And because of this, it also forms very tight, misinformed bubbles where like everyone agrees with you, likes the same things. They're kind of ignorant. They don't really like to get fact checked, and then like suddenly you end up having your grandma believing that the moon doesn't exist and it's a hologram.
So what did we learn from all that? Pretty much, people are moved very easily. Headline sounds cool. Probably not telling the truth. Chain texts are now back. And if they tell you to share with 10 friends, don't do it.